Well, hi everyone, my name is Sitton and I'm the sports executive at the Hurlingham Club. But for many years I was also a tennis coach, and when I was travelling to tournaments with players, I had to find creative ways to keep the players active without being able to use equipment and without being able to go to the gym. And I thought that would be quite useful to share some of these ideas for the time we're living in at the moment. So I'd like to show some exercises that are specifically for tennis, particularly for the legs, that are known as plyometric exercises. Now that is an exercise where you're exerting a maximum possible force over the shortest amount of time. And these exercises are particularly useful for tennis, which is an explosive sport. Now before I show you these exercises, it's really important that before you try any of these, you're fully warmed up and that you're not carrying any injuries. They're quite complex movements and you can hurt yourself unless you're fully warmed up and if you're carrying an injury, so just be careful to do these properly. And the exercises I'm going to show you here are primarily for the legs. I may be doing another video with some core exercises, but this is for the legs, and they all mimic different shots in tennis. Let me give you a couple of examples. So firstly, the squat. We're all very familiar with the squat, but if you add a jump at the end of the squat, you turn it from being a fairly static movement into a plyometric movement. So the basic squat, by the way, I'm a bit out of practice, so my demonstrations may not be perfect, but I'll do my best. So the squat in a very static position, but I can make it plyometric by jumping at the end. And for most people, if you try 4, 6 or 8 of those, you'll quickly feel it uses quite a lot of energy to do those. Okay, some other exercises. You need a step for these. The only piece of equipment you need is a step. The first one is this. You'll all be familiar with a lunge. These are very similar to a lunging position. But what I do is I turn it into a jump. So I'm on my step and I just push up through the front leg and then come back down again. Up through the leg and come back down. And I'll do a few of these on each leg. Again, you want to be looking at probably at least 4, ideally 6, maybe 8, depending on your fitness level. So that's exercise number 1, and those two movements mimic a closed stance ground stroke. I'll grab my racket and I'll show you. So a closed stance forehand is where you take your weight onto your front leg and you come up through the front leg as you hit the ball. Closed stance backhand, obviously, come up through the leg as you hit the ball. Those exercises help that explosivity. Now the next 2 exercises help for the open stance shots. So on the right leg, I use my step, get into a squatting position and I push up through my right leg and then come down. Up and down, and I can do that equally on both sides. With a racket in my hand, again pushing onto my open stance position, my right leg, and you're pushing up through the outside leg. So they recreate the same movement. I've already shown you a jumping squat. That's very good. You'll all be familiar with a lunge. You can easily turn a lunge into a jumping lunge. I'll show you. So this is a jumping lunge. Again, you can do 4, 6 or 8 repetitions on each leg. And for those who are pretty brave, you can do switching your legs while you're in the air. I'll try this, but probably won't be very good at it. I'm quite out of breath, but as you continue to do those, you'll feel that in the legs very quickly. And one of the key principles as you go away and practice these types of movements is that you want to be using the big muscle groups before the smaller muscle groups. If you watch the top players in slow motion, they all do this really well. So for a squat or any jumping exercise, you want to be using your muscle groups in this order. You start with the glutes, then hamstrings, then quads, and then the calf at the end. If you can activate your muscle groups in that order, you get the maximum amount of power with the least amount of effort. So it's the most efficient way of exercising. Okay, I'm so out of breath, I'm going to have a rest. So I'll end this video now. I will be putting a video together with some core exercises as well. So watch that. I hope you find this useful. Again, you can do this anywhere. All you need is a bit of space and a step. Do get in touch with me if there's anything else you'd like me to show. Take care.